Internet. I figured I would share some modifications I'm doing to my Challenger. To reintroduce it, because I have it in one other video, 2019 Dodge Challenger Scat Pack with a 1320 drag pack. The only options it's got, the Plum Crazy Purple, the SRT style spoiler, and the front passenger's seat. Other than that, it's pretty much a stripped down unit. So the two things I've done to it already is I've installed these things. I'm a total evangelist when it comes down to them. I know a lot of people prefer to just use tape, clear wraps, film, whatever. I personally I care about what my car looks like in 5-10 years from now. I don't like rock chips. And I just like keeping it clean, so I just chose to put mud flaps on. It cost me about 35 bucks, cheap modification, they pay for themselves. Next thing I did is a Hellcat air box. This is the original air filter. I went ahead and replaced it with a Hellcat replacement air filter, just to go ahead and do it. Not really necessary. This is a stock air box. Of course, it's already in. I don't like fake stuff. That's why I went ahead and did it. If you're looking to increase horsepower, don't really recommend it. Didn't really do anything to decrease the air intake charge. So I just like making use out of stuff that doesn't work. You know, they advertise the air grabber headlamps, but then they're non-functional. General Motors was really bad back in the 80s about making fake interiors, you know, fake stitching, fake screws. Kind of saddens me that these cars are kind of following that same path to a certain extent, but is what it is. Also, with the Hellcat airbox, when you go to buy your foam tape, if you read the reviews online, some people have negative reviews. Go ahead and buy some super glue if you need it. I did not need it. The adhesive backing was fine, so wasn't necessary. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to install these things. I mean, this is the factory one. I already took it off. This is if you plan on actually lifting your car up, which I obviously have a lift. I do plan on lifting it to do service. I want to try to keep the car as close to stock as possible so I can chase the advertised number of 11.7. I live in Kansas. We don't have very good air quality. It's always humid. It's just not the best climate to just chase numbers. So going back to these lift points, these are for the rear of the car. I bought these online, bought everything online, but these are made from Delrin. They're just denser, they're bigger. Again, if you plan on jacking your car up a lot, hopefully that's a good picture. But anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and get these installed. I've already took the one off. I put some anti-seize on the factory bolt. It'll pretty much come off as a unit. It'll have a clip right there. If your car is new enough, as long as corrosion hasn't got to it, the thing that clip just turns right off. Yeah, so anyways, 13mm bolt. I'll go ahead and get this one installed. Okay, those threads are just tapped into the body of the car, so there's no nut really on the back side, so I just snugged it down a little bit. You don't want to strip them out. That might be a little counterproductive. That one's done. I'll go ahead and do the other side. going to do is install an oil separator. An oil catch can goes straight from the crankcase just to a holding tank. This goes in line with the PCV system. Okay, put your bracket on. I put a little bit of anti-seize on the bolt. Use a level just to kind of help get it centered. I went ahead and put a little bit of anti-seize on these screws too. Professional. All right. That is one more thing that is done. Check that one more time. Yeah, that's good enough. It can't go too far this way because it'll actually hit the air box or the air intake. So before I move on, I'm just kind of looking at the underside. This car currently only has 620 miles on it. Everything's still kind of nice, new and shiny. I've already done my first oil change on it too. I use that Pennzoil SRT oil with a Wix filter. I believe that's the drain plug right there. Well, that's the drain plug. That's the fill plug right there for the transmission. The ZF8 HP70. I heard that Dodge or Fiat actually licenses the transmissions, and they actually build them themselves in the United States. This is the next and last thing I'm going to install. I'm reading the instructions right now. You're probably already aware of what this is. I went ahead and got the most expensive one. You probably don't need this if you just have a naturally aspirated vehicle, but because the Demons and the Hellcats are having problems with breaking their rear ends, I just don't want to take any chances, so I just decided I went ahead and just buy it anyways, because I do plan on going out to the track the coming next few weeks, and I don't want to break anything. Here's all the parts laid out. I'm kind of surprised these washers don't have a chamfer on them, but I did look to be mindful. Came with some Loctite. I've only read some of the directions right now. On step 1, it does mention you don't want to wait no more than 30 minutes after you loosen some of these bolts. I'm not going to try to make like a how-to video or anything, because I know there's a few people that have already done these. So I'll go ahead and just install it. Here's a DIRS installed. You will have some hardware left over. These 3 are the factory bolts. You won't need these, and these are optional for the threaded inserts. If you have OE threaded inserts, I guess you would use these. I went ahead and Loctited them anyways, just because I did. And then don't need that no more. Now that all the modifications are done, they cost me about $850, give or take. I also had to buy some miscellaneous hardware, sockets, stuff like that. Hopefully somebody can benefit out of this video. If at least one person does, that would be awesome. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask me. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. So, yeah, groovy. Take it easy.